Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Unveiling Paradise podcast show. Hello, Tessa.
Hi, Joe.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. We have a new mic today and I'm feeling real good.
And really loud.
I love it.
So, Tessa, I've been thinking about our season 5. We're on season 5, right?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And we've been talking a lot about beauty, health, and wellness.
For sure.
I think this is such an important kind of theme for this season because a lot of times when we think of your big wedding day, you want to shine. You want to be the star of the show. You want to look your very best. There are really healthy ways to do this and really unhealthy ways to do this. There's a story that I shared with you recently, and it's just so crazy that I think we have to talk about this before we get into anything else. Okay, so there's this article about this bride who really is stressing out about her wedding. She wants to look the best. She wants to look better than her bridesmaids and everyone, right?
Let me just start by saying the title is, I secretly fattened up my bridesmaids so I didn't look plain at my wedding.
So bad. So bad.
Thinking about upstaging this conniving bride? Fat chance. So the article basically goes on to talk about this bride who started putting that, I guess it's that high calorie protein powder or something.
Yeah, it's like protein that like bodybuilders use. It's like 5,000 calories a
yeah,
scoop or
so
whatever.
she started putting it into her sisters. She has 2 sisters, one older, one younger. They're both gorgeous. One of them is like hot and sexy. One of them super cute. And she kind of was like playing Jane. So she would make them do a shake every morning to be healthy. She was drinking fruits and coconut water, and she was putting this like fatty protein shake in their
So they all
smoothie.
live together, right? And so
They
she's
all
like,
live together.
Let's get fit for the wedding. So messed
So
up.
she fattened them up. So they ended up having to get larger dress sizes. So it
bad.
worked.
How did it actually play out for her?
So it's super funny because in this article, it says, I'm standing there glowing and gorgeous in my bridal gown, and my sisters are looking washed out and chubby. Oh, I'm sorry. She also made them more neon yellow dresses.
Which no one can look at a neon yellow.
So she's saying her sisters are looking washed out and chubby, but mostly I feel happy.
So
She said they've both since lost the weight that they gained, and I'm glad about that. Sometimes they ask me to make these delicious smoothies I used to make, but I tell them the weight loss shake has been discontinued.
So bad. Well, with that, let's start our show. So let's talk about this. Today's topic is about getting in shape, getting fit for your wedding. Everybody wants to look like their ripped, self for their wedding.
So with us today, we have a fitness expert, and this is our dear friend, former bride of mine, actually, Bernice Delos Reyes with the Mango Tree Fitness and Martial Arts. So welcome, Bernice.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you here too.
What do you think of our story?
I think that was so messed up.
So have you heard of that before?
Never.
Because I feel like I would have done it. This is why it's a good thing I didn't have a wedding party. I feel like I would have done it to make myself look best, to avoid working out.
Exactly. You're a psycho.
That's fair.
All right. So, Bernice, this is something that I think a lot of our couples stress out about. They want to look their very best. Everyone comes to fitness at different levels. Some people have never worked out before in their life. Some people have a real strict workout routine. I think the end goal for most of our couples is they just want to look great. They want to fit in their dress. They want to fit in their pants. They want to look good. So talk to us. How did you get into this industry? How do you, I know you work a lot with couples that are actually in the same exact position.
Yeah. So when I became a personal trainer, it was more so to extend my knowledge on how to exercise the proper way. And then at the same time, I was preparing for my first bikini bodybuilding show. This was in 2011 when bikini was a new category in the NPC bodybuilding competition. So I actually won a fitness competition at my workplace.
Wow.
And then I wanted to take it to the next level. So I had to find out how people did that. So I looked at these fitness models and pretty much just tried to do everything they did. So the workouts, having the protein shakes, taking supplements.
Eating a lot of like horrible food, like
Right.
bland chicken and
My
fish.
first coach was like the overall bodybuilder winner. And I literally had to eat plain tilapia, a handful of spinach, and a little bit of Kellogg's for a whole week before my first competition. I was super ripped, but I never ate tilapia after that.
I was going to say, were you happy?
Not.
I don't think I could.
I was not happy. I do have to mention that from that time that I competed, I went to school for dietetics at UH. So I learned the proper way of losing weight and body fat. And in 2016, my husband and I were working at a gym together, and then we decided to branch off on our own, and we started the Mango Tree.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So the Mango Tree is a fitness and martial arts academy. We used to have like jiu-jitsu and wrestling, but now we just do Muay Thai. So it's the Thai style of kickboxing. Right now, I do 7-week women's empowerment through fitness and Muay Thai training programs. Mainly, I do the personal training side. So we do strength and conditioning exercises together, but you will learn a little bit of Muay Thai. I really believe that using Muay Thai as your conditioning is such a great way to not feel like you're actually like exercising in a way, because you're hitting something and you're kicking something, and it's just like a fun way to exercise. So as a business, we also help people with their nutrition, especially because we know that that's a huge way of helping them to get to their goals.
We are so excited to have you on the show today. We have a lot to talk about. We are going to pick your brain on how to find that perfect balance for your wedding day with fitness and nutrition. So let's get started.
Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred & Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
Welcome back to the show. Again, today we are so excited that we have Bernice here to talk to us about getting in shape and looking your very best for your wedding day. For me, and we were just kind of talking, this looks different for everyone, right? Some people are very into the bodybuilding, the competitions, the working out. Others are just kind of, how do I just stay healthy and look my best, right? And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about today.
This is a high level place to start. Like, what are the benefits if you're just like planning your wedding, just getting started working out? Like, what are some of the benefits that we can talk about you'll see instantly?
When you start working out, you secrete hormones that make you feel really good. And so by working out, you'll start to even feel better. And especially doing it with someone else, you can really start feeling a lot better, and your mood will be so much better when you start working out.
Let's talk about this though. What does work and what doesn't work? So I think our listeners, we can come from this from a ton of different places of like just getting started, thinking about working out, getting back into shape if you had been in shape, or our very seasoned gym rats or gym bunnies.
I'm neither, so I don't know the words, the lingo.
But like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, wherever you're at in your fitness regime, right? What works, what doesn't?
I find that when you try out different forms of exercise, whether it's Zumba or weightlifting or get into a small group class, Muay Thai, CrossFit, you'll find something that you really enjoy. And that's usually why people stick to exercise, is because they enjoy that particular type of exercise.
I love that. So actually finding something that you do enjoy. And I think that's what's really unique about your business is it's like Muay Thai, right? That's something that is so unique probably from like sitting on a treadmill. Like it's engaging you in a different way. But I guess the next part of this is like, how do you stick with it? Like, how do you actually commit to something? Like when you're talking to, your clients, like, what are your tips on that?
So I think the biggest thing is scheduling it in ahead of time, like it as if it were a doctor's appointment. If you were to see a trainer, you need to schedule it in. And if you have someone that can help keep you accountable for the times that you're going to be at the gym, I highly suggest it, whether or not it's your fiance or your best friend or someone in your wedding party or maybe even a family member. I think that's just scheduling it in, that 20 minutes, that 30 minutes that you're going to work out with them or take a class. I think that would be the best.
Actually, it's so funny you said that because I think about when I've been like really serious about working out. It's also because I had somebody that was also there pushing me. So like when you have that friend, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your best man, your maid of honor, whoever it is, like when they're there kind of also keeping you accountable, that's awesome. So I love this. Like, actually, I think that's a really good tip for all of our wedding listeners is like, who is that person in your life? That is it your friend who's like, okay, let's do this together. I got your back. We're going to, you can't skip out today, because there's like happy hour somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. As long as you're not like that sister.
Yeah. She was a bad partner.
She was a bad partner.
You don't want that. Okay, so accountability is a big one, right? Having someone to kind of hold you accountable and to, again, like, hey, we're going to the gym, like, get your stuff. What are you doing, right? And I think we talked about this earlier, right? But just to kind of reiterate, I think you had mentioned having a variety or finding something that you really like to do.
And there's so many things you can choose from, and sometimes it takes that willingness or like to get over the fear of something that you might think like you might not like. You know what I mean? Like some people don't want to take a Zumba class because they think they're not coordinated. But then when they're actually in the class, they're like, wow, that was really fun. So I highly suggest to try different things, even though you might have this prejudgment about that activity and just see if you like it. Because sometimes it's about the environment that class was done in and the coach or the trainer rather than just like what it is. You know what I mean?
So let's get into the nitty and gritty. Like if our wedding is a year out, like, what should we be doing?
I mean, there's different scenarios, but let's just say someone is like barely working out, maybe like once a week. I would say that if you can just start where you're at and just start, even if your wedding is a year from now, you'll feel less stressed out when you get closer to your wedding day. Like Tessa helping me prepare for my wedding. It's like you don't want to wait to the last minute or else you'll just get more stressed out. And so I would say like if you had 6 months, so I was thinking about this question because I felt like you were going to ask me something like this. And I thought about when brides try on their wedding dress and how far out is that usually? Is that like, what is that, Tessa?
About 8 months to a year.
Yeah. And then when I found my perfect dress and then I knew which body parts were going to be showing more. And I've trained a bunch of brides before, like 5 at the same time. And I had my wedding first and I saw all their dresses. And this was like probably 9 months to a year. I feel like if you can put that timeline along with you finding the dress, and then I feel like your goals will be more specific into those body parts that you want to get slim, especially your arms, your back, your waist. So I think that lights a little different fire in the brides that are trying to prepare for their wedding because they actually like can visualize like, this is how I want to look.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
Everyone listening wants to know, how do I look good for my wedding day? So this is not a game, but I guess kind of a game that I created because I love a game. Here are some scenarios, right? So I found my dress, I found my suit, I found my outfit, and now I know what areas I want to really work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you or tell you, what the dress looks like, and you tell me, are there specific scenarios or things that we can do to work on it? And is this realistic? Am I just, is it impossible? So first one, I've seen this a lot, right, is your dress has a low back. So you're showing your back. So what can we do, if anything, to help work on eliminating my back fat before my wedding day?
Definitely focus more on your nutrition, but there are some exercises that will help you to strengthen that area, which in turn it's going to turn into muscle, right? So exercises like deadlifts would really help. And a deadlift is basically almost like a squat, but just less bend in the knee. So it's almost like you're bowing in a way. So deadlifts are one exercise that could help with that area. And also lat pull downs, which basically works the lat muscles.
Okay, so what about if I have a strapless dress? I'm definitely going to be looking at my arms and my armpit fat. Is there something we can do? You have zero armpit fat, Bernice. So what do you do? Your arms look fabulous.
I do Muay Thai.
Perfect. So martial arts.
But one easy way of working that area is jumping rope.
Oh.
Doing jump ropes. You see people like boxers or kickboxers or people that do Muay Thai, their shoulders are really nice because they're boxing, but also we use the jump rope to warm up.
I do like jumping rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then push-ups are
like
one thing.
I don't like that, but that does make sense.
So when you do chest presses, with the dumbbells and then you're on a bench, if you go at an incline, you're going to work your upper chest, which really helps with that area.
Okay, so strapless dress, a lot of work. Okay, I'm going to be doing a dress change and I'm going to do a fun mini dress. So short dress. What can I do to work my legs?
Don't say burpees. I hate burpees. Burpees.
I'm going to say I like lunges and in different ways. So you can do like front lunges, and then when you do side lunges, you're working the inside of your legs. You can do curtsy lunges, like when you do a curtsy. I mean, do we ever do that anymore? But
Yeah,
curtsy lunges, help with the sides of your booty. And just shaping the entire thing. But lunges are one of the best ways to work your legs for your fun mini dress.
Perfect. Okay, this is a tricky one. I don't know if there's a solution, but one of my biggest things that I'm self-conscious about is my double chin. So is there any exercise I can do? I can talk more. I feel like maybe that will help. Joe disagrees. I think he's shaking his head at me, but I feel like maybe talking more might exercise my chin so I have less of a double chin.
That's a really funny question. I actually knew someone back when I was young. She would slap the bottom of her chin.
I'll do it.
Get
That's
out of
what
here.
it takes.
Go away.
I actually know people, especially because of Muay Thai and stuff, but it helps to strengthen their neck. So they would literally stay on the side of a bench or at the edge of a bench and tilt their head back.
Like a neck sit-up.
Kind of, yeah.
You know what I'm talking, like a neck sit-up. I got you. Okay, I'm going to practice. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone who wants to wear a suit, pants, a jumper, what can I do to get a tight ass in my pants?
Squats.
Oh my God, those are hard.
Yeah. But also, I feel like sometimes we don't utilize the squat in the way that could be the most efficient. The reason I say that is because you can do a squat, just slow down the movement as you go down, and then it'll actually make it harder. So the reason why you want to slow down in an exercise too is so that you could put some mind to your muscle. So as you're going down in your squat, then you can really target the glute muscles in order to make them stronger and then make them look even nicer in your tight pants.
Everybody likes to wear tight pants. I'm just saying, we want to be prepared.
You want that booty fit in those pants.
Booty's got to be popping. On your wedding day, why wouldn't it, right?
Right. And then one thing too, another way that you can make a squat different is to turn your feet out, and then it'll work a different part of your lower body. So just try those different ways of moving your feet out. You can do leg presses, which are pretty much like doing a squat, but pushing a weight away by using one of the machines. So that's another way to work your legs.
I think that's actually a really great analogy with starting with the wedding dress and just kind of thinking about how do you see yourself fitting in that in 6 months or a year or whatever. How do you measure that success? Do you love a weight scale? Do you love a mirror? Like, how do you think we should be tracking our progress? You know, like when we're working so hard to like shed that weight or, you know, shape our body, like what's the best way to actually gauge that?
Yeah, I think about the dress a lot because that feels like a centerpiece besides the bride. I like starting with the visual of the dress. And personally, I do not like the scale because it's an emotionally driven number. I feel like if you lose a pound, right? And you're like, I've been working so hard. I like pushed myself. I did like 3 hours in the gym and I only lost like 1 pound. That could be really disheartening, I feel like, and even add more stress to the bride. So what I would use is a measuring tool, which is like a tape measure, or just to see the difference in your waist size, especially when you are trying on your dress. That's what you want to see. Like, you don't want to see that, you don't want to have to get a bigger dress. You know, you want to be able to make it the way that you want it to look like. So I think the measuring tape is one of the best tools to use because you can actually see the change in the inches or centimeters in your body.
So real results, not like a scale where, again, like some days I'm heavier, some days I'm lighter, depending if I drink water or just coffee all day or, you know, have an extra slice of cake. Like, it's understanding that a tape measure is kind of that realistic number of your progress.
Right, exactly.
And a lot of times when you're working out too, you're adding muscle, you're shaping your body. So you're like, wow, look at my arms are like skinnier, but they're more shapely too.
I also think pictures are a great way to measure your progress too, just because sometimes while we look into a mirror, we don't notice any differences. But if you can compare one picture from like 1 month and then in the next month, notice that your arms are getting more toned, like your waist is getting smaller, maybe your booty is getting a little bit bigger. I think pictures are a great way to measure your progress.
Or they're a thing you hate. Like, I think of pictures that I've seen like with myself during COVID when I was sitting at home.
I mean, weren't we all?
I was like, whoa, wow, that was brutal on me. But yeah, I mean, I think that's such a helpful thing. What about fitness trackers? I know there's lots of apps. Everybody has apps on their phone. Like, what about fitness trackers? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Is it just keeping you accountable?
For nutrition, I feel like they work the best because in order to lose weight, you need to eat less than what you're burning per day. So it's called the law of thermodynamics. And if you burn 3,500 calories more than what you're consuming per week, then you're going to lose 1 pound of fat. So that's like a deficit of about 500 calories from what you're burning and what you're eating. But you still need to make sure that you're eating enough. So don't eat like 700, 800 calories. Eat like 1,200 so that your body's continuing to burn calories in the most efficient way.
You know, like fitness and nutrition go hand in hand. So I'm actually super happy that you mentioned that because that is the other part of changing your habits, changing your routine. If you're really going to see those results, fitness is only one part of that. What recommendations do you have? If we have 6 months to like find that perfect fit body for ourselves, where do we start?
Yeah, so if we talk about nutrition, I actually just got my master's in nutrition last year.
Right, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and one of the things is that if you want to get to your fitness goals, it's actually like 80 to 85% of your nutrition that you need to be more mindful of rather than your fitness. I mean, that sounds like a huge number, but your nutrition is really going to be the main driver to your success in losing weight and becoming leaner. So I would use these fitness apps for finding out how many calories I should be eating in general. And then from there, seeing what that looks like in food. So finding out specifically what your body needs for your goals. So really comes down to the total amount of calories that you eat and also knowing how much protein your body needs. But those numbers are really, you should talk to a professional about that, such as like a nutritionist or a dietitian, and then also seeing a personal trainer that can really dial in your fitness routine and give you those recommendations that would help you to get closer to your success. I guess the way that I saw planning for a wedding was just working with Tessa. I really did not know where to start. When you work with a professional, like a personal trainer, I would tell my brides, I'm like the wedding planner for your body, like your fitness. I'm the wedding planner for your fitness. Like, just do these specific things when I tell you to because of my experience and my knowledge, right? And then you'll get to your goal. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts. Like, just do this plan, you know?
That's exactly what I would tell Bernice. I'm like, don't worry about everything else. Just do this.
Right, exactly.
And then we'll check in later and we'll get through everything else. But just get this done for your wedding.
Right. And then it just takes week by week, right? I think we see this grand scheme like, oh my goodness, I have to do 6 months of exercising. And it just becomes so overwhelming for some people. And I found that as working with a professional, like working with Tessa, or even just like a personal trainer, they would really help me to simplify getting to the goal, you know, and I just really enjoyed that.
This is super overwhelming because I'm not someone who normally works out as constantly or religiously as I should. So I guess, Bernice, do you offer anything to couples or to brides or grooms or anyone who is getting married, planning a big event, or knowing that they want to get in shape for a certain time period? Can you tell us a little bit more about, services that you could offer them?
Yeah. When I work with clients, a majority of them are using Muay Thai as their way of conditioning, so they don't need to run as much. And it's such a fun way to work out, and you don't really even feel like you're exercising because you're just hitting a bag and the music's loud. So along with their training program, I help them with their nutrition because that's a huge way of helping them to get to their goals.
So Bernice, how can our listeners that are interested in getting, fit for their wedding, fitting their perfect wedding dress, how can they get more information about all the services and awesome things that you guys do?
They can go on our website. It's themangotreehawaii.com. And if you're interested in trying out a complimentary class, you can fill out our contact form there. We are located in Kaimiki, which is our headquarters. We just opened last year in Hawaii Kai at Coco Marina. We're in Pearl City and in Kapolei. Also find me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Bernice Fit CPT.
Nice.
And our Mango Tree, we have a couple Mango Tree Instagrams, but the Mango Tree _ Kaimiki is the main one.
And I'll have all these links in our show notes for our listeners.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
We always say this when you work with a professional, like when you worked with Tessa for planning, when we work with Bernice for fitness and nutrition.
Yep.
You have all the guidance, you have the plans already. You don't have to create it yourself. So thanks again for being on the show.
And Bernice is honestly one of the nicest but most intimidating looking people because she is fit, but so nice and is always there to help you get to your goals. So thank you again, Bernice, for being on here with us.
Thank you again for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
is just a plane ride away.